Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here. We're here for another review, Jive. Star Trek Fridays doesn't sound as good, so I'm still calling it Star Trek Saturdays, but it's coming out today. Just fucking deal with that, right? We decided to just move some stuff around. Five videos a week might be better than 6. Well, whatever. This is a trial. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen next week? It'll either be Friday or Saturday of next week or Sunday because sometimes I'm lazy. Just deal with it.
We have really busy weekends, so it can be very difficult for us to put out videos. Maybe not. We're hoping that you're going to like getting your Star Trek fix from us a day early.
Yeah, we'll see. Anywho, it's Star Trek Saturday-ish, and
it's Star Trek Saturday Eve.
It's Star Trek Saturday Eve.
There we go.
Maybe I can slam an Eve on there. Super lazy. Anywho, we watched episode 9 of Lower Decks, which is Veritas. Mm-hmm. So quickie, spoiler-free, no breakdowns, no explanations review. I really like this episode.
This was so good.
Maybe new favorite episode.
Definitely.
I'm gonna be deep real with you. Maybe new favorite episode.
Definitely new favorite episode for me.
It was super good. It was super good. So go watch the episode. Now that that's out of the way, let's go into spoilers. If whatever, if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. Come back. Finish doing this.
Yeah.
Like this video. Comment below. Share. Subscribe. All that kind of stuff. What do you think of the episode? Tell us below. Do all that.
Yeah.
Favorite part. Q, obviously, always. What are you talking about? Anywho, let's go into spoilers. So, this episode's name is Veritas, and this episode is, basically like a trial and told through flashbacks, which is pretty fantastic. So, basically, our Lower Decks crew get all shoved into, like, a dungeon, right?
Yeah.
And they start panicking, and then the floor rises them into, like, a dark room. Full blood, dude. It looks like the courtroom from Star Trek 4, the Klingon courtroom.
Oh,
right?
It also
and it's even got, like, the metal gavel. It's got all of it, right?
It also looks like the Senate from Star Wars.
Vaguely, yeah. Less floaty CGI.
Yeah.
Which
but
Star Wars
definitely
feel bad about.
Ominous and menacing.
Yeah, very ominous, very menacing. And so we get introduced to the new character, to a new character named Klarr, and he is he comes off as very like lawyer, right?
Yeah,
in the beginning, he's like, look at your crew suspended in this beam of light. I want to know the truth of what happened on this star date, and everybody's just like, we don't really remember that good, and he's just like, of course you do. You're Starfleet. You're the best. So they go through telling all of their stories,
which
each
are
individually
hilarious and embarrassing.
Oh my god. Okay,
Not just for the person telling the story, but also for the entire ship.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So we start with Mariner's events that happened on said star date.
Yeah.
And Mariner's basically like they were late to getting to the bridge, and they got to the bridge, and they weren't paying attention, and the captain's just like, send a message, and she fires a phaser past the ship, and of course the captain's like, I meant invite them to dinner, and Mariner's just like, send them a message always means fire phasers.
Yeah.
Not at them, but just like near them. Which, I'm gonna be super real. Send them a message always means
favors.
Fire your phasers.
Right? We laughed so hard.
It's so good.
We had to pause it.
It's so good. She's just like,
so funny.
And the bridge crew is like, what the fuck? Like immediately, which is hilarious, right?
Yeah.
And then Boimler, what did the captain ask Boimler to do something? And Boimler's like suggesting...
Oh, they asked what he recommended to do
and
based on his research.
He suggests a maneuver, and they're just like, what are you, a monster? So whatever he was suggesting was very very Janeway maneuver adjacent. Shoot all the kids out of an airlock kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which is just dark. Janeway's such a great captain. Just give her a lot of coffee so she doesn't go bananas. I can relate to that as a coffee addict.
It goes a little beyond coffee drinker.
Yeah, I drink all the time.
Don't ask about how he likes his coffee.
Hashtag black coffee, bitches. Anywho, so, he's just like, you're expecting me to... Klarr goes off on this tirade. He's like, you're expecting me to believe that a Starfleet officer doesn't know everything that's happening on the ship? And she's like, not really.
They're like, no.
And so
Klarr isn't happy with that.
Klarr's like, Mariner, send her to the, what is it?
To the eels.
To the eels of, what do they call, the eels of disagreement or some nonsense like that, right?
So she's picked up in a light beam and then taken
and brought over the eels. And is starting to get lowered when Boimler's just like, what the fuck, guys? And so he like pauses. And then we get Rutherford's story. Also, he mentions Rutherford's first name,
which is Samanthan.
Samanthan. Now, Samanthan can be spelled either Samantha with an N at the end, or Jonathan, but the John is turned to Sam.
And that's what
That's what I'm thinking it is. Both are insane that his first name is Samanthan. I love it dearly.
Yeah.
It's a weird aside. It has nothing to do with the episode. It doesn't fucking matter, but I love it. We talked about it.
Is like doing some sort of mundane rotation of electricity stuff in the ship. And the security officer comes up.
Forgive her lack of Star Trek.
Rutherford, we need you, or like, are you up to date on your latest, what was it? Romulan pack. And he's like, no, I normally do that while I'm sleeping because my
implant don't work so
implant's a little weird when I upgrade. And they're like, no, we need you to do it now.
It's the security officer and the captain and the guy in charge of engineering.
Yeah.
So Rutherford's a boss. And then, like another superior officer.
So he's like, okay, but like sometimes it's a little weird. So Rutherford hits the update button, and then you're seeing stuff from Rutherford's point of view, and it's like updating, and it's got a little progress bar at the bottom, and they're like, okay, well, we're waiting for that to update. Let's fill you in on the details for the mission. Oh, wait, do you have all your shots? And then Rutherford's been like, hey, guys, wait a minute. I'm gonna like restart when this is done. And it restarts, and he blacks out. And then we just go through an absurd series of events.
Before he blacks out, the reason why they ask about his shots is because he might get a flesh-eating venereal disease that will eat its way through your pants. It's a pretty intense way to die, based on what they said. Which is, like, what the fuck is the mission where, like, flesh-eating venereal diseases is not even like a, maybe, but like the first thing you bring up is like...
So he blacks out, and then he comes to later on, and then there's a bunch of pantsless people on a ship.
Naked Vulcan. So he passes out, he comes up, they're on a Vulcan ship now. They're all in Vulcan garb because he just neck pinched 2 Vulcans to steal their clothing.
And then the updating bar starts again.
And then it starts updating again. He blacks out again, and now they're in a Vulcan museum. All right, the chief of security is climbing up the gantry to try to break into a classic TOS style Romulan bird of prey. Yeah. And of course he's like, no, don't attract attention. And immediately a security guard is just like, hey, you guys have attracted my attention.
So Rutherford has to do a fan dance to try to take his attention off of the security officer who's stealing the ship.
He does interrupt his attention and draw his attention even more.
And he does dance with a fan.
He does do a fan
2
dance.
Fans.
But it's great. He's like doing the fan dance, and the chief of security's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "I'm trying my best." And he's just, it's not Uhura level fan dance, right?
Not,
I feel like I feel like Uhura's the best fan dance, and Rutherford's like a D+. He's getting a diploma, but it's not great.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to college with it.
So then you see the loading bar again. And then the loading bar goes, and then he blacks out.
And he comes to standing in space.
In space.
And he's just like, how am I standing in space? So he squats down and knocks on space. And come to find out it's a cloaked Romulan bird of prey. And his boss, the chief engineer, is like just rambling about
he's got some sort of
Tom Sawyer has a gun or whatever.
Something.
He's running out of oxygen, so he's having nitrogen build up in his brain, which is resulting in hallucinations, both visually and auditorially, as well as confusion. So Rutherford picks him up, and basically we get you're rebooting in 10 seconds, and Rutherford's just like shit and starts running towards the chief of security, who's in some sort of
ship.
Looks like a warp sled maybe or something. And so he's heading that direction, blacks out again, and at this point in time, we jump back to the present moment, and Klarr interrupts, and it's just like, what are you hiding? What's going on?
And he's like, I don't remember.
like, this is the only things that I remember. And he's like, how did you steal the ship? I want the details. And he's like, I don't know any details. I want to know how it happened also, because the restarts are blacking out, and so he's not forming any memories in his implant, which is fucking hilarious, by the by.
So he has no idea what's happening.
So he gets picked up and floated over the eel tank also, and of course he gets there and he's like, eels. Mariner's just like, have you not been paying attention this whole fucking time? Which is great. I love Mariner. She's the best.
So now it's Tendy's turn.
Now they get Tendy on the mic, right? And
she was excited to go and like clean up a conference room, which they said is...
First, she was excited to get to be in a trial, and like they're like, Tendy, you have to tell the truth. And she's like, first of all, I want to thank everybody for having me here, and I've always wanted to do this before, like like whatever, because she's just excited about everything all the time.
It's so cute.
But so it flashes back to her story, and she's supposed to clean the conference room.
Yeah, she's excited to clean the conference room, and they say
specifically the cat fur.
Well, and they're like, why are you so excited? And she's like, why are you so excited? It's mostly just lint rolling cat fur off the chairs. Yeah.
Which
and she's like,
true.
but they talk about Borg in the conference room, and Mariner's like, we always talk about Borg.
Yeah,
and
like you can do it anyway.
But when it's in the conference room, it's a conference. So jump cut to the conference room, and Tendy's in there, and then first officer and like a bunch of other unnamed guys come in. Yeah. And throughout the course of Tendy's telling of her recollection, there's like little black bars. Yeah, there's black bars over everybody that isn't the first officer. Because Tendy is like, okay, well this is a classified mission, so I have to keep some things out. And Klarr is like, wah!
Yeah. He's like, I want the truth and the whole truth. You can't classify things, you can't keep things a secret or whatever, because you have to speak the truth through the whole whatever the hell. And Tendy's just like, yeah, but I already did, so we're gonna move forward with this, which is great. It's like the sassiest shit Tendy has ever done,
but
and it was adorable.
I don't think she was being sassy on purpose.
No, she wasn't. But it comes off that way because it's Tendy, you know?
Yeah.
But so she gets roped. So these guys come in, and they're like, and the first officer's like, are you the cleaner? And she's like, yeah, I'm super honored. And he's like, great, I'm glad you're here. And immediately starts, this is a classified mission, and starts going into the mission brief.
But while he's talking,
they were looking
words
for a person
that he's
called
saying are also getting bleeped out.
Oh yeah, everybody gets bleeped. Yeah. All there's a bunch of stuff get bleeped because she's having to like keep stuff a secret.
Yeah, everything's being redacted in this story.
Suffice it to say, they get on the bird of prey from Rutherford's story, which Rutherford points out that was in his story, and he's happy about that because Rutherford loves Tendy deeply. So they like go on their mission, and they're traveling through the neutral zone or whatever, and she's like, so I wanted to try to tell him that like maybe there was a bit of miscommunication, and so thus begins maybe one of the most comedically perfect sequences I've ever seen in a Star Trek series, much less in a long fucking time, of her being like, hey guys, so I think there was just like a little bit of a miscommunication, and the other guy at Ops is like, everybody be quiet, they're scanning us. And then it shows the outline of the little bird of prey and like a giant Romulan bird of prey.
And then he's like, okay, we're safe. And then Tendy starts talking again, and then he's like, oh, wait a minute, they're scanning us, everybody quiet.
We're scanning again.
And then the bird of prey gets closer, and then she starts talking, and then so we get more.
We get like 9 times of this. It's so good. At one point in time, he's like, "They're scanning us," and it jumps out to like, or he's like, "It's scanning us." No, wait a minute. That was just a mistake. No, wait a minute, they are scanning us, and it jumps out. There's 4 ships there with their little invisible ship floating in the middle. Like they would be murdered if they got caught.
It's so funny. It's like the kind of joke that like is funny and then it's not funny and then it's funny again.
They did it long enough that it's funny again.
This was funny the whole time.
Oh yeah, because they keep adding more ships, and she's just like getting frustrated trying to tell them the truth, and she just can't because of the damn Romulan scans. But so they end up getting back to the Romulan homeworld, to Remus, and they break into a place, and they're like, all right, like, you know your duty, like, watch our 6, and she's like, 6 what? And they're like, that's right, and they run in, so she has no fucking clue what's going on, and then they come running out with like a big ol' like sarcophagus looking thing, space sarcophagus kind of looking thing, right? And they're like, all right, Tendy, a bunch of Romulan guards show up, they're like, all right, cleaner, do your thing. And she's like, what's my thing?
She's like, I don't know what to do.
And so she turns around and just kicks the shit out of
she turns around and then
6
starts
Romulan guards
beating these guards up. And as the other guys from this group are running away, they're like, oh man, this is pretty crazy. We thought all she was gonna do was beam us out. And the first officer is like, yeah, but like, who's gonna complain?
Yeah, like, what are we gonna do about it? So they end up getting back to the ship, right? And they're back on the Cerritos, and they're like, everybody did a good job, and the first officer's like, you did a great job, cleaner, like, too bad this is a secret mission, because,
but she's like,
no, like, nobody can talk about this or whatever, and then they fucking leave. And of course, at this point in time...
So he leaves the room, and then she literally picks up the lint roller again. And starts lint rolling the chairs
she's just
again.
finishing her job. So she, at no point in time, had any clue what was going on, right? So we jump back to, like the present time, and Klarr is here with rage.
Yeah.
Right? Klarr's just like, what are you talking about? Everybody has to know everything. Where did they get the map? How did they rescue the person? How did they save the thing? What was in the box? And all of them are like, we have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
So Tendi gets picked up. And then put over the eels.
Everybody gets dropped
into the eels. And then they turn on the temperature in the eels, and Tendi's like, I think you're hurting the eels.
So they start, like, heating the side of the tank, and the eels are just like... flopping around. So
now it's Boimler's turn.
And Boimler
just goes off.
Fucking snaps. Let me tell you what, realest moment for Boimler.
Yeah.
Right, like full, like non-Federation moment. Boimler was just like a person in that moment, not like an officer. You know what I'm saying? And he just fucking goes off. He's like, you're right. We are Federation. We don't know everything that's going on the ship, but they don't share these things. That's why we join Federation, because we want to dive headfirst into these missions, and we want to protect people, and we want to keep people safe, and this is, like, you haven't brought up any charges, and this trial is bullshit, and, like, I say that you're the one that's committed a crime, holding us here, and all this, and he starts going off, and he's just like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Let my people out of that eel tank. Mic drop. And just drops this, like, horn of truth or whatever the fuck it is. Just drops that shit on the ground. And Klarr is, like, taken back. And Klarr, like, raises him out of the thing. And he's like, bring up the lights. Bring up the lights. And they turn on all the lights. And it's, like, a Chuck E. Cheese birthday in there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like straight up, like, it's straight up like discount stepdad birthdays.
Streamers and like decorations.
And it's like soft pinks and like teals and yellows and greens and stuff, like lights on the wall. And he's just like, what are you like, this isn't a trial. And then he goes off on explaining what's actually happening. Now,
which is
not what anybody was expecting. This whole episode, including us as the audience, expected this to be basically a trial and some people are going to get murdered. What he explains is that he was taken captive by the Romulans, and the Cerritos stole a map of the neutral zone, crossed the neutral zone, stole a ship from the Vulcans, crossed the neutral zone in a cloaked old Romulan ship, broke into some sort of high command place to save that thing, that sarcophagus, that he was in, to bring him home, because he's the best. And he invited them to a party. The beam that they're floating in is a beam of honor, which is total horseshit that doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. And at this point it cuts to the bridge crew, and they're like they're suspended in this thing, and they're just like, oh.
the chief engineer
this is a beam of honor. We're honored right now.
Yeah, the chief engineer's like, I'm so honored to be in this beam of light, and Mariner's just like, shut up with you. Like, because they're all pissed now. They have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah, because Mariner and Tendi and
Rutherford
all
were just they were just eel tanked, right? And so she's like, what do you mean this isn't a trial? This guy's been mean mugging us the whole bloody time, and it's just like a guy who's like...
And he's like, I'm just waiting for my turn. It's my daughter's birthday today.
It's my daughter's 100th birthday. And he like lifts up a cake with like 100 candles on it, which is adorable. And then like an event planner walks in, and he's like, all right, Klarr, like it's the end of the road for like, you know, you've ran out of time. That's your 24 minutes. And he's like, we haven't even been able to... And he's like, well, other people gotta scribe stuff on the stone, so like, you know, it's next in line or whatever, and like the
we didn't even get to celebrate.
The bridge crew comes down from their light beam, and Captain is just like, all right, come on, Mariner, let's go. And Mariner's like, this is bullshit. This was a trial all along, and she's even like pulled out by the captain. Yeah. And Klarr's just like, you ruined my party. You ruined my party. You ruined my, like a child.
Yeah.
Dude, straight up.
And Mariner and him are like arguing back and forth while the captain is pulling Mariner out.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. It really like the whole thing, once it was revealed that it was a party, really felt like we were observing like a botched birthday party at like a Chuck E. Cheese or at like a pizza place or something like that, where it's just like nobody knew what was going on and it wasn't planned right. Nothing was communicated.
Like it was like a botched surprise party.
Yeah, like it felt like that thing where like somebody's birthday's like October 18th. And they're like, you want to come to my birthday party? It's at Pizza Hut or whatever the hell, right? And you're like, yeah, when you were a kid. And you're like, yeah, I guess whatever. So you go to the party and everybody's in costumes and you're like, I'm sorry, did we get fucking communicated about this shit? You know, and then of course then, you know, Dad is asking you like, were you supposed to wear a costume? And you're like, I fucking know. I'm like 9, dog. Get out of here with this shit. Like it felt like the children miscommunicating about a birthday party to their parents. I feel like I can see you in this. You know what I mean? Just like you
just pulled from a real life situation.
Like, that's what it felt like to me. Was just like a bunch of kids not organizing this shit enough, and the parents just being like, "You guys are 12. You should have your life togethers already. Like I don't care. Whatever. It's not our problem." You know. But this was great, and of course we get at the end one Mariner being like, why the fuck did we have to do it? Why was the Cerritos sin? Why wasn't it the Enterprise? What's going on with all this kind of stuff, right? So, I totally forgot. During Boimler's, like, fucking tirade, he mentions that the bridge crew doesn't always know what's going on, and they're always getting into stuff.
Yeah.
And we got the, Q taking the bridge crew and fucking with them. They were brought to a chessboard.
Yeah.
They were chess pieces. A soccer ball appeared, and it seemed to be rambling on about some nonsense. Yeah. And Q was crazy in Q. Which it is John Delancey, or at least it sounded like John Delancey.
It was.
It was. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it was John Delancey, which I love him to death. Yeah. He's the best. I love John Delancey. And so, so at the very end of the episode, right, as like Mariner and the Lower Decks crew are all like walking back to, you know, the turbo lift or whatever, they're like walking back and Q fucking pops in his like giant Encounter at Farpoint chair. That's the chair that he's using in the first episode of TNG, the Encounter at Farpoint, as well as the costume. And he's like in his little Encounter at Farpoint chair, and he's like, I challenge you humans to a duel. And Mariner's just like, none of your shit right now. We're tired of weirdness. They just walk past us. And Q's like I choose mines as my weapon. What do you want to do? He starts like speaking in French to her and stuff, and she's like, "Go bug Jean-Luc Picard." I don't even speak French.
I don't want to go bug Picard. He's always drinking wine and quoting Shakespeare. Actually, there was a couple of times that they made those kind of comments.
Yeah, it's
They brought up Q in almost every person's flashback.
It's great. Well,
I think they brought up Q in every single episode.
They reference Q-iness often in the show.
Yeah.
There was also another thing where they mentioned like, we don't want to go, because they talked about like, oh, we're gonna get in trouble and like lose our jobs and get sent back to Earth.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't want to go back to Earth. All you can do there is like grow wine and eat at soul food places.
All you do is drink at wine and eat at soul food places. And we looked at each other and we're like, I feel so attacked.
Yeah, I feel like they just said all of
Northern
Earth
California
is where we live, and we have beer too, guys. The wine, I'm not a wine person, so whatever. But so that was a great burn at Earth.
Yeah.
Just Federation Earth.
Yeah.
But this episode was
hilarious.
Chocked full of references.
Yeah.
Like stupid chocked full of references.
Lots
it was
of
super funny. And you know what? It was nice having like it felt like a bunch of little stories.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you. That one's actually on time this time.
Oh,
Old
look
clock.
at that.
But it felt like a bunch of little narratives that all sort of linked together in the end, and I liked it. It was very it reminded me of like chapters from Game of Thrones. If you read the book. Where the chapters jump around and stuff.
Each person's story.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super funny. I think obviously Tendy's story was the best one.
Yeah.
But Rutherford's was also really funny.
I think Tendy's was my favorite.
And the last thing. So Klarr was played by, I had to look this up, because I super recognized Klarr's voice, and I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? But I couldn't, like put it together. He doesn't do a lot of, like, long-winded talking. And so Klarr is played by Kurtwood Smith, who is the father in That 70s Show. He's the bad guy in RoboCop, and he is the president of the United Federation of Planets in Star Trek 6.
Oh, neat.
Which, so that's a little Star Trek reference inside of the episode, which was awesome. And of course, the moment I looked it up and saw that it was Kurtwood, I was just like, obviously. Yeah. I can't believe I didn't put that together fast enough. But yeah, this was a great episode. Yeah. I highly recommend you watch it. I hope you enjoyed this brief breakdown.
I think the breakdown might be longer than the episode.
It's fine.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. Anywho, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This was Review Jive. It's kind of Star Trek Saturday. It's
Star Trek Saturday Eve.
Okay, Star Trek Saturday Eve. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, ring the bell, and we will catch you guys next time. So, peace.